On Halloween night in South LA, Big U's son was shot and killed, and the streets are saying this wasn't random. When someone that close to a legendary and feared figure is taken out, it's never just a crime. It's a warning. And tonight, the biggest question in Los Angeles is, who finally had the guts to make their move? New information is coming out about a shooting we first told you about yesterday. A man killed in South Los Angeles on Halloween night has now been identified as the son of a former rap executive and alleged gang figure. People in the neighborhood said they recognized him immediately. This wasn't just anybody. It was someone tied to a big name in LA's street history. Halloween in South LA was supposed to be loud, busy, and full of celebration. But around 11 p.m., everything changed. Witnesses heard a sudden burst of gunfire near Florence Avenue and 11th. At first, some brushed it off as fireworks. It was Halloween. But the shots didn't stop. When people rushed toward the noise, one name echoed through the crowd: Jabari, Baby U Henley, Big U's 34-year-old son. Unresponsive by the time help arrived, almost instantly people online agreed. This didn't look like a random crime. And to understand why, we have to rewind. Because being Big U's son means trouble around you rarely feels like an accident. Big U isn't some forgotten name tucked into LA history. He's a giant figure whose influence has shaped both the streets and the music industry for decades. Anyone who knows about West Coast hip-hop, the Rollin' 60s Crips, or the rise of Nipsey Hussle has heard his name at least once. To some people, he's a mentor and a protector. To others, he's a man who should have been stopped a long time ago. His story has always lived in the middle of power: violence, opportunity, and fear. Before the fame and federal cases, Big U was already known as a powerful figure in South LA. He built relationships with artists, record labels, and businessmen. He helped guide young talent toward success, including Nipsey Hussle, long before the world recognized Nip as a global icon. You could say he saw the potential before anyone else did. He understood how hip-hop and street culture were connected, and he used that influence to move people forward. But power always comes with shadows. While Big U built a reputation in the music world, federal investigators were paying attention to his moves on the streets. Over time, they began painting him as more than just a businessman. They labeled him the mastermind behind a criminal network, one that operated like a mafia, with money, territory, loyalty, and fear woven into every decision. This wasn't just local police making noise. We're talking about a massive federal takedown, a 43-count indictment that covers some of the most serious crimes a person can face: racketeering, extortion, drug trafficking, human trafficking, and even murder. Authorities claim his network wasn't just a loose group causing trouble. It was an organized empire designed to make millions and control entire neighborhoods. And right now, Big U is fighting for his life from behind federal walls. To understand what that means for LA, you have to understand his weight in the city. Big U didn't just have a crew, he had a brand. He had a legacy. People respected him, feared him, or depended on him. Some saw him as someone who helped protect the community when nobody else did. Others saw him as one of the main reasons the streets were dangerous in the first place. This dual reputation, hero or villain, has always followed him. If you ask someone who worked in the music industry, they might call him a gatekeeper who opened doors for Black talent in LA. They might tell you that without him, Nipsey Hussle wouldn't have climbed as fast as he did. They'll say Big U brought structure, business sense, and connections that rappers desperately needed. But if you ask someone raised in the rival blocks, you'll hear a different story. They'll talk about fear, about violence, about how his name alone could silence an entire room. They'll talk about crews who only moved because he said so, and deals that only happened if he approved. They'll describe a city where your survival sometimes depended on what Big U wanted or didn't want. Being connected to him means you're always part of something bigger, for better or worse. That's the weight that Jabari, his son, carried his entire life. It didn't matter if Jabari wanted to live quietly or avoid the drama. The streets would never look at him as just another man. He was Big U's blood. That alone made every move dangerous, every friend suspicious, every smile potentially hiding a threat. People either protected him because of his last name or targeted him because of it. And that's why his death on Halloween night doesn't feel random. Federal prosecutors believe Big U has enemies who have been waiting for their moment. Rivals who lost money, power, or people because of him. The streets believe the same thing. They say nothing around a man with that much history is accidental. If something happens, there's a reason. Now combine that with the fact that he's locked up. He can't protect his son. He can't negotiate. He can't retaliate. There's a vacuum around his power, and a vacuum is exactly where violence grows. LA officials know that too. In fact, many of the neighborhoods mentioned in Big U's indictment have been under increased surveillance for months, especially areas known for retaliation attacks. Police aren't just watching for crimes, they're watching for chain reactions. Because when someone like Big U is taken off the streets, alliances shift. Threats rise. The entire balance of the city gets tested, and that's why the federal indictment isn't just a legal document, it's a warning. A message that says if the king falls, the war doesn't end. It just begins somewhere else. Right now, the whole situation feels like a storm no one can fully see. Everyone knows something is brewing, but no one knows when or where lightning will strike next. What makes this even more complicated is Nipsey Hussle's legacy. Many believe the tension between Big U and Nipsey's family, especially Blacc Sam, never truly healed. Those old wounds are now part of the speculation, the online theories, the whispered conversations happening in barbershops, studios, and behind closed doors. Every name involved in this story has weight. Every rumor feels heavy. Every headline sounds like the setup for the next one. So while Big U sits in federal custody fighting for his freedom, the streets of LA are fighting over what comes next, and Baby U's death may have just been the first sign that the next chapter has already started. So when news spread that his son had been shot outside a smoke shop near 69th and Figueroa, an area long known for violent gang rivalries, it hit different. This wasn't just breaking news. It felt personal. According to investigators, Jabari walked up to a vehicle that called him over. Within seconds, someone inside fired multiple shots and sped away, leaving him on the pavement. No arrests, no suspects named. But the same rumor keeps spreading. Backdoor setup. And here's where things get even darker. In the weeks leading up to his murder, word was that Jabari had been warned to stay far away from that neighborhood. That's when another name started popping up across the internet. Blacc Sam, Nipsey Hussle's brother. Street blogs have been hinting at something deeper. Something far more personal than a random conflict on a random night. According to them, people close to Nipsey Hussle's family have suggested that Jabari's death is tied to old tension that never died after Nipsey was killed. Not just tension between gangs, but tension between powerful people who used to stand side by side. To understand this properly, you have to understand one key person, Blacc Sam, Nipsey Hussle's older brother. In a world where loyalty is currency and respect is survival, Blacc Sam is one of the few who never backed down. While many feared the consequences of challenging Rollin 60's leadership, Sam stood firm. Even before Nipsey became a global legend with Grammy wins and murals around the world, Sam protected him fiercely. He wasn't just a brother. He was Nip's shield, his right hand and his anchor. And when someone threatened Nipsey, Sam was ready to fight the entire world if he had to. That fearlessness made Sam a rare figure in LA street politics. There are stories, well-known ones, where Sam openly confronted Big U, a man twice his size in both physical and political power. Most people wouldn't even dare raise their voice around Big U, yet Sam would step forward without a second thought. Because for him, the mission was always simple: protect Nip. No matter what. That kind of bravery doesn't go unnoticed. It creates respect. But it also creates enemies. So when Nipsey was murdered in 2019, LA didn't just lose an artist. The entire balance of power shifted. Every alliance, every secret agreement, every past dispute was suddenly back on the table. Nipsey had been the bridge that kept multiple worlds from colliding. When that bridge collapsed, the ground underneath everyone started to shake. And that's where the tension between Big U and Nip's family truly grew. Some people believe Sam blames Big U for not doing more to protect Nip. Others think there were long disagreements over business, leadership, and who truly had the streets' respect. And then there are the conspiracy rumors, the ones people whisper but rarely say out loud, that suggest some individuals may have indirectly benefited from Nipsey's death. Whether true or not, those suspicions turned cold silence into boiling hostility. As Nipsey's star rose higher than anyone ever imagined, clothing stores, documentaries, business partnerships, love from every corner of the world, Sam became the one managing the legacy. The one guarding Nipsey's name. The one refusing to let outsiders claim credit or influence over what Nip built. For some people, that was a threat. Because controlling a legacy means controlling the power attached to it. Street insiders say the relationship between Sam and Big U never recovered. Not from the beatdown attempt. Not from business disagreements. And definitely not after Nipsey died. Now fast forward to Halloween night. Big U is in federal lockup, old enemies are watching, and Big U's son is suddenly gone. Those same street blogs began connecting dots instantly. They weren't pointing to gangs, they were pointing to history. They claimed this wasn't about Jabari's personal actions, but about something larger, unfinished business. Unanswered questions. Unresolved pain. If Blacc Sam is the only person in LA who ever stood toe-to-toe with Big U and refused to fold, what happens now that Sam has more power than ever? Nipsey's legacy isn't just a memory, it's an empire. And Sam controls it. That alone puts him on the opposite side of one of the most influential men in South LA, or at least the organization that still stands behind him. Some believe Jabari was targeted as a message. Others think it was punishment. And some say it was simply the streets reminding everyone that nothing is ever forgotten, especially when it involves a king like Nip. Even though Sam hasn't said a word publicly, his silence speaks loud. The city can feel it. Every corner of South LA is buzzing with the same quiet question. Was this retaliation for Nipsey Hussle? Or retaliation for the man Nipsey once stood beside? Because if this shooting is connected to that old conflict, then LA isn't just dealing with another tragedy. It's sitting on top of a fire that could explode at any moment. And everyone knows, where there is power, there is pressure. Where there is legacy, there is jealousy. And where there is bloodshed, there is always more waiting if the wrong person pulls the wrong. String Jabari's death could be the start of something nobody is prepared for. And there's one story that always resurfaces whenever people talk about the conflict between Sam and Big U. And now many believe that story may be tied to the night everything went wrong for Jabari. There's one moment that people always bring up when talking about the tension between Big U and Nipsey Hussle. The day Big U supposedly knocked Nip out. According to the streets, Nipsey had just released You Don't Got a Clue, and everyone understood exactly who that track was calling out. Word spread fast. Too fast. And Big U allegedly showed up with a crew, ready to handle things the old school way. They didn't come to talk. They came to take Nipsey for what gangs call a DP, a harsh punishment for stepping out of line. But before anything could happen, Blacc Sam burst out of the building like he was ready to fight the entire world. People say he grabbed whatever he could and fired warning shots, right in front of police parked across the street. From that day on, nobody questioned Sam's loyalty or what lengths he would go to for his brother. So when Big U's son, Baby U, was killed on Halloween night, Sam's name immediately started trending, even though he wasn't involved. Those close to the situation say Jabari must have known the person who called him over to that car. He wouldn't have walked up otherwise. That's why people are whispering betrayal, not coincidence. And with LA officials pushing hard to clean up South LA ahead of the Olympics, more raids, more surveillance, more pressure. Every move on the streets feels like someone is playing chess. That's when bloggers and street insiders began saying something many were afraid to speak out loud. Baby U's death didn't start on Halloween. It started the day Sam and Big U went separate ways, even Charleston. White has been publicly claiming that Big U was more deeply connected to the aftermath of Nipsey's death than the world was ever told, so now the internet is doing what it does, connecting dots that may not belong together. Some believe if Big U really had any hidden role in those past conflicts, then maybe someone was silently waiting for the right moment to get payback. And Halloween night, when Baby U was alone and vulnerable, became that moment. In the middle of all this, Wack 100 jumped into the conversation too. But this time he didn't come with jokes or trolling. He said the situation had him feeling like DJ Academics, because every time he checked his phone, there were new rumors, new screenshots, new people using the story for attention, while the family was still struggling to breathe through the grief. According to Wack 100, Baby U wasn't just Big U's son. He was like family to him. Wack explained that out of all Big U's kids, Jabari was the one he was closest to. He said he had helped him through problems, stepped in when he and his father clashed, and supported him even when Wack and Big U weren't getting along. No matter what, he and Jabari stayed in touch. Wack remembers watching him grow up, watching his daughter and Jabari's little sister go to school together. He says he's pulled Jabari out of fights, loaned him money when he needed it, helped him calm down during bad moments, and even helped him sneak back home when he messed up. They had a real bond. Even now, Wack says he plans to reach out to Jabari's older brother, Michael, and offer help however he can. Everyone knows how close he was to Jabari. That was his real name, after all, so Wack is ready to support the family in anything they might need. Then Wack said something nobody expected. He defended Big U. He reminded people that Big U hasn't been convicted of anything yet. The accusations are out there, but nothing has been proven in court. And Wack says he isn't hearing anything in the streets that suggests Jabari's murder was revenge for something Big U may have done in the past. But the part that hit the internet hardest was this. Wack admitted that if Big U called him tomorrow asking for help, he wouldn't do it. Not because he hates him, but because family tragedy and social media beef are completely different things. The love he had for Jabari comes before anything else. Wack said he would have risked his own life to make sure Jabari made it home safe. That's how much he cared for him. The loss has him shaken. He doesn't want to talk about revenge or rumors. Because right now, Los Angeles is already heated, and with the Olympics coming soon, the tension is only going to get worse. That's when something changed in Wack's voice. You could hear fear. Not fear for himself, but fear for the whole city. He warned that everyone in LA needs to move smarter. Watch where they go. Never get too comfortable. Because the streets right now feel unpredictable, like danger could show up out of nowhere. But here's the part people online keep hinting at, without actually saying it. This case is way bigger than one Halloween shooting. While the internet debates theories and points fingers, investigators are looking at Jabari's death as just one chapter in a much larger story. The exact corner where he was killed, 69th and Figueroa, has been flagged by LAPD for years. It's a hotspot for gang tension, robbery crews, and what police call Halloween retaliation season, a night when old conflicts tend to explode. And even though Jabari isn't listed in any part of Big U's federal indictment, the same neighborhoods in that indictment have been under watch for possible revenge attacks, long before Halloween ever came. So now one question is hovering over South LA like smoke. Was this just a tragic, random shooting? Or the first move in something much bigger? Because right now the city feels like it's holding its breath, waiting. And if you think this story ends here, it doesn't. The streets are still talking. New details are still dropping. And what's coming next might change everything. Stay tuned. Because the next chapter is even messier.